Okay, we're going live. We're backstage.
Backstage. Oh, let me cut the music. It's not cleared music. Don't want to get DMCA'd or whatever the acronym is.
What is that?
We've got to find a room to go live in.
Okay, we're going.
I was playing music in the background.
We're
It's
backstage.
like, everyone clear the music. Oh no, there's an audio loop.
Music. It's not cleared music.
I hear feedback, Oscar. If you're looking at the live. Ah.
Music.
There won't be feedback now.
Got
Great.
it.
I just used
I'm looking at myself in the feed.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Yo.
Is it freezing over there?
Yeah, it's getting colder by the day.
Wait, it's cold in Dubai? That's a thing? It's not a thing. Come on. It's not cold in Dubai.
Sometimes you have to wear jeans.
Oh.
I mean,
Whoa, it's you.
the rooms are freezing, Bernie. It's crazy. It's super cold.
I mean, you get sick from going from the heat to the cold to the heat to the cold.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
hotter it gets, the colder it becomes inside, and it's
Yeah, for sure. Well, they're fancy here, so they don't like to sacrifice on comfort. So if you're gonna be in the heat, they want to be extra cold whenever they go outside. When's the next time you guys are coming around here?
October, baby.
October.
That's right. The Future of Blockchain Summit.
Future blockchain summit.
Plug.
That's the reason to come.
Chilled.
There's literally no other reason to come to Dubai other than the Future Blockchain Summit. I can think of zero other tourist
Your
attractions.
words, not mine.
No other tourist attractions come to mind other than the Future Blockchain Summit.
Your words, not mine, man. Your words, not mine.
Pretty much once it's over, I mean, this whole place is a ghost town. That's what the entire city looks forward to all year.
I heard like from May to October, there's no one there, right?
Nope. It gets hot, especially since we have like Ramadan and then we have Eid. It's just the time that families tend to travel a lot, to be honest.
So I hear the hotels are like 50% discount. And
It's pretty good. During Eid, so like next week, it's going to be like a lot more expensive because a lot of people do their staycations instead of traveling, especially with COVID and all that stuff. But other than that, it's pretty much dead. But even if you want to take advantage of the hotel discount rates, it's still very hot. So you try to go to the pool and it's still going to be the same situation for yourself.
yeah, I'm gonna go in end of May, so I hope it settles, gets better over there, huh? Because it was super expensive during the Dubai blockchain week.
Yeah.
Like 3 times.
Expo 2020 also sort of raised a lot of prices for things down here as well. Even rent went way up. So people that have been living here for years and years, all of a sudden, because Expo 2020 happened, there was a lot of increases in price because of all the tourists that came in. I forgot, how many visitors did we get for Expo? Total millions and millions of visitors for Expo. A whole lot.
I was amazed about the lines. You know, there were like endless lines to enter one expo, one pavilion.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty
Longer
amazing.
than Disneyland.
What's that?
It's longer than Disneyland.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if they expected the lines to be that long. I mean, they expected a lot of visitors, but maybe they just didn't have a way to accommodate all of those in each pavilion. I mean, the place itself was huge. I mean, it was basically like the size of Disneyland, but each pavilion, I guess they had their own capacity limits.
It's crazy.
How's the weather over there in Japan?
We're getting a lot of rain for some reason, and but it's warm. I'm putting the air conditioning on for the first time. Yeah, it's gonna get hotter by the day. How about LA?
LA has actually been cold for LA. Like, and then it rained, like, which it doesn't do in LA at all, basically. So, yeah, like all of California has been kind of uncharacteristically cold this time of year. Cold for it, not like cold for anywhere else in the world, but just kind of cooler temperatures. Yeah, like getting close to I mean, in Fahrenheit, it's like 40, getting down to the low 40s at night, which is starting to get close to freezing water. So it's like weird, like really weird.
Does this make us like a couple of old guys that all we have to do is talk about the weather?
Oh
How
yeah.
about the weather over there? How about the weather over here? How about the weather at this time of year? Oh, let me tell you about the weather in LA. Oh, it's actually
this panel is gonna be crazy.
I'll put that in the description. We talked a lot about exciting things, weather in Japan, weather in Dubai, all of the stuff, even weather in LA, all the weathers.
Yes, exactly. When you talk about weather, we got one of these. Yeah, weather.
We need to do one of those for the office, just for anything. We need to punctuate every single joke with
little bull air horn.
yeah.
Nice.
I noticed you're always wearing like these the cartoon character hats, like Marvel. Well, it was just something. It was different the other day, but it was also like kind of like the baby version of another character that you had the other day, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have various collections of these. I'm basically known for my very colorful hats that I wear. So it started years ago. It became this kind of monster, and so I can't get away from it. The people when I don't have a very unique hat, they're like, wait, what's going on?
The day you don't show up, you're gonna say, "Are you okay?" I mean,
yeah. There was actually a time where I was wearing glasses and a hat. So when I didn't have either on, especially both, people would not recognize me at all.
No way.
I would like wave at people at a cafe that I've run into randomly, and they would like not know who I was. So
never seen your hair before, huh?
yeah, they never seen me without a hat, and they never seen me without glasses. So it's like completely different person. Like,
and like my dad, I never saw my dad without a beard until I was like 20 years old. Just didn't know what his face looked like.
And he suddenly just shaved it off when you were 20?
Yep, I think he got hot one day. All right, guys. Well, it's 11 o'clock. I guess it's starting soon, or does it start automatically, or click start webinar? Oh, start webinar. All right, you guys ready to get started?
Yep.
Cool. Let me just find this. Hey guys, welcome to the webinar. Here we are in our first edition so far of the Around the Block blockchain webinar hosted by the Future Blockchain Summit. And we're excited to introduce our host, Hayat Met. He's a global account manager at CoinTelegraph Japan, and Jinsokisha, make sure I'm saying that right, spearheading global activities for Japanese projects. And then, of course, the one and only Bernie Su, three-time Primetime Emmy Award-winning interactive creator and showrunner, and is the creative content officer of Meta Theory. Thanks, guys, for coming on. We really appreciate having you on board with everybody.
Hey, thanks for the intro.
It's an honor to be here.
Sure. So yeah, I guess kind of the first thing to do is, Matt, Hayati, you're gonna go ahead and get started.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and pick Bernie's brain, and let's all learn from what Bernie can offer.
Yes, let's do that. Yeah, thank you so much for the intro, and thank you, Bernie, for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thank you, and you're welcome.
Great. And our topic today is, why are you NFTing? And this is the topic I wanted to talk about because you specifically have an NFT project, Dustbreakers. And I just wanted to start off with you introducing your project. And you have a brilliant team. So I'm talking about that as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I guess what is Dustbreakers? So the company which I'm this chief content officer on is called Meta Theory. Dustbreakers is the first NFT project we've launched. You can find more about it at dustbreakers.gg. You can also find the NFTs themselves on the Ethereum blockchain. So they're available on OpenSea and LooksRare if you want to pick one up. Not saying you have to, just saying if you're interested. Feel free to do that. And the way we look at this is that Meta Theory at first foremost is a gaming franchise Web3 company. So yes, we do NFTs, but we are not an NFT companies per se. We are using the technology of Web3 to enhance our game and franchise, we'll call it endeavors. So we are going to be doing, and we are doing games that are connected to the blockchain and using the tokens. And we also will be expanding our franchises of the games to other mediums, whether it be animated series or webtoons or other interactive things. The world's our oyster. A lot of methods there, and that's something that I've been doing outside of the NFT world in my career for years.
Amazing. And through your career, you won 3 Emmys through these innovative series that you've done, and I think that's what you're doing with Dustbreakers and through Meta Theory. And it's so important doing NFTs with not having quick flippers, to have a strong community. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, look, you're going to have the flippers. Like if your NFTs it has or franchise is any level of success, you're gonna have flippers. It's just part of the game. Okay.
By the way, what are flippers, just in case
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So you may have heard or not that there's a lot of hype in the NFT world where we're just like there's skyrocketing values of JPEGs of monkeys and other things. And what's happening there are people are buying and flipping. They're treating it as an asset, like an asset, and the assets are incredibly volatile. And so you can have this whole discussion about how to invest or flip NFTs. We're not going to do that here because we're not going to be disseminating financial advice. Which is fine. And so when you mint, which is like how you start an NFT, when you mint the token, you have the initial sale of that NFT, and typically it's at a very affordable price for your or a lower price for your community. Affordable is a subjective point of view, as I realize, but it's usually at the lowest price. And what may happen is that people will buy in, and they'll buy as many as they can, and then they'll try to flip them for a quick profit. And write it up the value, right? And that's what happens. And it happened to ours. Okay, so just historically, just to give you guys the history of this. So we minted in early December last year, and we had minted 10,000, and we sold them all out in our pre-mint. And we were selling about 0.06 Ethereum. I'm going to say that was around $300 at the time. I may be completely wrong about that, but Ethereum was a pretty high at the moment too. It was higher than that. It could be $400. And I vaguely remember doing the pre-reveal, as in like we minted the token. You didn't actually see what art you got. So the analogy here is it was like a closed pack of Pokemon cards. Like you don't know what you got. You bought the unrevealed pack. And during that unrevealed phase of hype and community and people being excited about the project, I think it got as high as 0.4, which is not that high, but compared to 0.06, then that's a 8x, right? A 7x value. So if you had minted the NFT and sold at the high, which people did, I'm sure, you would have made 7x your money immediately. Okay. And it fluctuated back and forth and so forth. And so now after the reveal, as does many NFTs, again, not financial advice, just historical trend.
Yep.
The low price, the bottom price of any of the tokens, what they call the floor, that dropped to I want to say 0.1 high number there, 0.18, 0.19, and has kind of gone up and down over the last 4 months from that number. I think the low it's been since is 0.14, and the high it's been is like 0.3. So it has fluctuated. So there are trading opportunities just using, if you said, if you use my data as accurate, 0.16 is your support, and 0.3 is your resistance, right? So you could have easily, again, history being 2020, hindsight being 2020, you could have easily traded that several times there, and done quick flips. Now, other NFTs out there, Bored Apes, the big ones you've heard of that have crazy values, have just gone, they have volatility going up and down, but they have just if you just had held, you would be up 10, 20, 30, 100x depending on which token you bought and at which time, of course. So
and then you could mutate it, and then the
mutate
apes
and some of them have given you, because what they do is that if you're holding a token at a certain time, they'll just give you more of a different token, like they'll airdrop you, or whatever the term is. There were various terms of that. So there have been that. They've also airdropped you actual cryptocurrency, like there's an ape coin now for Bored Apes, for example.
Exactly.
And I think I saw this on Twitter. I don't know if this data is accurate, but I think if you had just minted the Bored Ape at the mint price, I think you would have been up 4,000% in value, or something like, or 40, some really crazy number if you just held everything.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Amazing.
It could be even higher than that. It could be 40,000. I don't know. I need to do the math there.
Yeah, but going back to the topic, if talking about Bored Ape and these NFTs and our topic, why are we NFTing? In the beginning, if like you said, if you had those Bored Ape tokens, the Bored Ape NFTs, and you held them, and if that was your purpose of NFTing, I guess you'd have had the vision. That would be the reason why you were NFTing, right? You would foresee getting tokens for these NFTs, actually becoming a member of these NFT groups. I've heard of these parties where people go and enjoy becoming a community of these NFTs as well. So do you think that these non-flippers who hold on to these NFTs are actually looking forward to these closed communities and not just flipping it, right?
Yeah, I think they are. I think some of them are. I think some are flipping, right? But and then look, money changes your opinion. It's like or changes what you want to do with something. All right. So you may love the thing you love so much, and you like never sell, but when that number keeps going up, at some point, you're gonna crack, right? Most likely, right? So going to your point though. So let's take Bored Ape because it is the signature one that everybody talks about. Now, the thing that I think kind of signifies my analogy here is the last two letters in the acronym, which is Yacht Club, Bored Ape Yacht Club. Okay? So it's a club. And in order to be in part of this club, you have to be a holder of the club membership, which in the case is the token. I know there's more than just the apes. There's like mutant apes and there's other ones. But let's just take the example of the 10,000, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So this yacht club, this figurative club, has a 10,000 person membership. It's no more than less than that. And in order to get into the club, in this case, you said like a couple of parties, which they've done. I know there have been parties that they've only allowed members to come in. You have to be a holder of the token. Okay, that's not dissimilar to any type of like club, country club, social club, right? And having the membership in this case. Okay, now is it just the membership? Well, no, it's what the club is and the club represents.
Exactly.
It's exclusivity, it's the clout, it's I'm in a club with I'm Justin Bieber's a holder of Bored Ape, and Jimmy Fallon's a holder of Bored Ape, and Steph Curry's a holder of Bored Ape. So you're figuratively in a club with some big names here, and that's kind of the clout factor there. So and that's kind of the value of that. And what I think is really fascinating, and the use of it as a club membership, whether it's a Bored Ape social club or whatever, is that the club membership is very public, right? Like who is a member, or like, because the wallets are transparent. You may not know who's holding the wallet, right? But it's all transparent. You also know that there are only 10,000, right? Like if you and I started a social club, like just like a cool restaurant in Manhattan or New York or Tokyo, and we said there's only 10,000 membership, and we sold them out, and we may be very motivated to sell more memberships, right? Like,
Absolutely.
right? Like we probably, especially if they're sold out so fast, and you can just make more money. And because it's transparent, that's the where the technology comes in. Because it's transparent, you can see who is a member, how many are out there, and what the memberships are going for. And like, you know, they can go up in price and go down in price. And the only way a member can join is to buy a membership from someone else, right? So that's one of the, you know, why NFT, right? Like, why do you do it? And
Exactly. And yeah, sorry to cut you off. I mean, but
No, go ahead,
you know,
please.
I've been seeing that, hearing about all these alpha channels, you know, where these communities actually, these closed communities get the best information, because you know these big holders of famous NFTs are obviously wealthy, maybe, and they don't have to flip them really quickly. So these these up and coming NFT projects want to promote their NFTs in those closed communities so that they can get these big holders to hold their NFTs, right? And it circulates in that community as well. You know, when you watch these big NFT holders' wallets, you know people track them and actually see what these big holders are holding, and actually buy NFTs of that collection. That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, it definitely happens. It's the whales, right? It's the influencers and
Yep.
the whales that they have in their wallets. I find it to be a really fascinating way to follow hype. I'm actually wondering if it's like, if more of that is more on the investment side of things rather than the clout side of things. I don't know. I mean,
Mhm.
if you, they call some NFTs, you know, the top ones the blue which when you define as blue chips is of course very debatable. But I mean, I think clearly Bored Ape, because this is the most valuable one, is a blue chip. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, if you're a Bored Ape holder, what else do you have? Like, what are you buying? And if you are holding, you know, all the blue chips, whatever you determine those are, and you buy another one, then it's like, oh, okay, that means this is the next big hype, and this is going to be a pump and something like that, which I find fascinating. But I also see that, you know, there are a lot of plays with people launching their own NFTs, you know, getting an influencer in and having them whether they, you know, shill it or gift a bunch of them out, and then still seeing that the value of that NFT kind of tank a bit. So I mean, is there a secret sauce here? I don't think so. Or else everybody would do the same thing and everybody would be successful, right? So yeah.
I mean, exactly. So what are you doing? I've been seeing so many innovative actions that are going on in Dusk Breakers to actually motivate these users to keep and hodl your NFTs. What innovative things are you doing right now?
Yeah,
Like
so
play to
it's
mint.
yeah. So one thing we did, which one of the problems of a lot of minting when people buy that initial whatever 10,000 in our case, is that there are people who will make bots, just try to buy, like, you know, buy 1,000 of them right off the bat, and, like, you know, and hold 1,000 of them. So we prevented that, I think, very successfully, by saying that you needed to play a game that we built, okay, and you had to play this game, and basically if you played the game, you got to mint the thing, right?
Super clever.
Yeah, and it's very hard to bot a gameplay, right? Like, you have to, and you couldn't just like log in. You had to, like, set a score, so you had to, like, you know, go shoot a thing, right? Like, and so yeah, now you could have gamed it and made, like, you know, 50 wallets and played 50 times. It's like, okay, sure, but like, that's very manual. It's not a very you know, automated process with botting, right? It's definitely, I mean, it's still not botting. It's like, if you really want to make it, you know, 10 wallets and do it 10 times and do it that way, I guess you could have. Okay. So it really shut down that so we had a lot of diversity in our holders, okay, at the time. Now, I think, to be transparent, the diversity in our current holdership is not as strong as it was when it started, because I do think there are several people who are hoarding quite a few of the breakers, our NFTs. But I digress, right? And so that was one thing we did. The play to mint was, you know, playing this game to mint the NFT was seen as pretty innovative. I'm not sure if we were first. I know some of us were claiming we were. I want to be respectful to the actual factual. I don't know. Okay. We were one of the first. I don't know if we were the first at doing it. Okay. Just to be respectful. The other thing that showed us, that showcased to our community, was that, look, we're serious. We had to build a game. You don't just build a game. Like that takes weeks at least and we spent weeks to build this game. So we wanted to showcase that one, we are going to deliver. I mean, it'll take us time to do, but we are in the process of delivering on our promises, which is that we're going to build a game. We're not here to make a bunch of money and distribute the value, the earnings we did, because they that's transparent. You can see that when we minted all 10,000, we got $2.5 million, or whatever, how much ETH that is, into that. And we were very transparent to saying, like, this is not just being dispersed to our pockets as the founders. We are putting this back in to the franchise to build more games, right, and hire people and so forth. So, kind of get to the point of your question of our strategy. Okay, now I'm going to preface this by saying, we are not Bored Ape, and I don't claim for us to be a blue chip yet. Maybe we'll get there someday. Maybe we won't. I want to, if we're going to be transparent with everything, I want to be honest about that. I will say that our kind of community and price has been very consistent. So what you'll see in a lot of other ones that have, their prices are very volatile, and all of them except for the blue chips are down from their high point. Now the ones that are doing well are their prices are higher. Great for them, awesome. Okay, but everyone else is down considerably by big margins. Okay, whether it be 50% or 40% or 80% or 90%. Like, just I don't want to call them out, but if you do research, you can see for yourself. So with that, I think we're doing really well in that area. Mm-hmm. I will be also transparent to say that personally, I feel that we as a team I think we're a little behind our deliveries. We are getting there. Things are getting done, right? I think we should have in a more optimized result, we would have had more content out. We would have had more elements of things for the community to do, and we will get there. May is starting next week, and I'll just say it's a big month for us. We have a lot coming in May.
Absolutely.
April is not so big as compared to what May is going to be. So we're very excited about going into May with what we have to be announced and to be dropped. And it'll be a different feel. We have a lot of big things. They just took a little longer to build than we thought. And so what internally, even though I've said the price of our breakers many times, because I think people do judge on price a little bit, we internally are not really worried about it. I mean, by caveat of worrying, like if it tanked to zero, of course we worry about it. Mm-hmm. We don't want that to happen, but we're not obsessed about price. Like, we're not trying to move markets every day with like announcements and so forth for the community. Like, if the community cares about investing the damn thing and trading it, that's on them. They can do that, or they can't do it. We're not. That's not why we did this. We didn't build this to make a volatile asset where you can trade it and flip it all day. If you want to flip it, that's cool. But we're here to build a NFT into a game with incredible utility and value for our players and our community members.
So that is why your community members are NFTing, I guess. And I just wanted to open.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to pass it to Steve, ask if he had any questions from the crowd.
Yeah, sure. So we have a few. One of them is Yasmin. I know that she was asking a few questions. So I understand Yasmin is already building an NFT collection, and she just wants to know a little bit more about how does she bring it to market? How does she create the community that you've just talked about that all of these NFTs are creating? So essentially, she's not a marketer; she's an artist. How does she get her art out there for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, there's no secret sauce here. It's kind of like it's different for everybody. I from what I'm reading about your question, you have an NFT collection and you want to go to market on the collection once the collection's finished. So one of the things you definitely need is to kind of have the dev, the person, the person who builds it into the contract. So you've done your art, it's amazing, and you build it into the contract, and then you go that route. Another thing I think you need to start with community is you got to make a Discord. And the only way I feel you can build that quickly is I think you need to kind of integrate with other communities in the NFT world. So you join other discords. You probably need to recruit some community managers because it's really hard to do it if you're doing it all by yourself. But if you can do it, more power to you. How you can bring in community members is you can try to recruit some from other Discord communities and offer them some things. Like if you don't have a ton of money, you can offer them some of your NFTs, right? Like if they believe in you and and hopefully they do, then they'll see that, hey, if I help Yasmin build her NFT collection, then the NFT that she gives me is going to be worth more. So everybody wins together, right? So I encourage you to do that. Building your Twitter presence too, I think very, very important. Yes. So as you follow up, you said Discord. Is Discord the good way to get your collection known? You got to build a Discord. You have to build it. Discord won't, it's not a broadcaster. You need to get people into your Discord, and how you do that is you need to promote your Discord through, from what I've seen people do it, is 1, Twitter, and 2, other Discords of other NFT collections. So you need to go in there and try to draw them to you, and do it tastefully. And I think most community Discords have a channel, and you got to find it and follow the rules of that Discord. Like we did in our Discord, there's a channel where you can promote other projects. And so you would do that for every Discord you go into and try to build your community that way. I think also for your community or your NFT, you need to have a strong message. Like, what is this? And I don't know your collection. What are you trying to do here? Is there a mission? Is an art speaking to some area? There's a lot of ways to do this. And there's many collections that really just are about the art. That's fine. Do they do well? Some of them do. Others don't do well. So I encourage you to do your research and look at other ones that that you may want to emulate. Don't copy and steal them, but you can borrow some of their methods and how they built their systems.
Great, thanks.
Yep.
And Shahad had actually sent a message over, asked, how did Bored Ape become so popular? And if I can sort of kind of build on that, not just Bored Ape itself, but how does an NFT become this blue chip? Were they just kind of one of the first in the market? Do they have a giant marketing team behind them? Can a new NFT become suddenly a blue chip? And how would they become this massive player in the market like Bored Ape is?
Hayata, do you have a thought on that one? I'm curious what you think.
Absolutely. I've been supporting this Japanese starting this NFT project that's starting up, and like we said, it's all about marketing, and you need marketing professionals who know these closed alpha channels, who know these big holders, who can actually hold those NFT tokens first. And then, of course, you need to access these KOLs, influencers. And of course, like what we've been talking with Bernie, it's not just about hype. You don't want to hype your project and have it come falling down on top of you. So of course, after that, you need to structure your NFT to actually keep on exciting these holders. Like Bernie said, it goes down first, but to keep maintaining the floor price and actually even get that higher, you need to structure it well. And in the case of Duskbreakers, it must have been a very good roadmap with some exciting future roadmaps. And for our project, for my project that I'm supporting right now, of course, they should have new communities that could come up and support the NFT project with new functionalities as well. So I've been hearing that in the US actually, it's important to have these big extravagant parties to brand your NFTs. And that's why I wanted to actually delve more into how different, getting your NFT famous in, for example, Japan is, and maybe in the US is probably different, because there are many NFT projects that are famous in Asia, but maybe not heard about in the US as well. So vice versa. I think that's a very interesting aspect as well.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. I mean, right now in the kind of meta of the NFT world, there's like a conference in like every city in the US. There's NFT LA, there's NFT
Exactly.
New York, there's NFT Miami, there's like NFT New York again. Like it's just like there's like one every other week, it seems like. And Denver had one a couple weeks ago. And during those events, some collections will throw parties. I mean, it's more about the parties than the actual like panels, which is not
Exactly.
too dissimilar to many conventions anyway. So that's okay. But the and then the collection, and then what they'll do with these parties is they'll like be like, oh, it's open to holders. You have to show your wallet, and it has the token on it, and you get to go to the party. So if Bored Ape has done this, I know that Azuki did one in NFT LA. Doodles had a whole like installation over at South by Southwest. And I think that creates a bit of lore, like kind of aura for your collection. Now, these parties aren't cheap. These are not cheap things to throw, right? So there's this balance of like, was it worth it and so forth. I mean, I think for Azuki, Bored Ape, and Doodles, they're all basically blue chips. They all have a ton of money from the money they're making already. So they can just, go nuts and do these things. And they're doing it really, really well, from my understanding. If their communities and their floor prices are telling me these things. I mean, we're looking at that. We're asking ourselves that question. Does Dustbreakers throw a party? Are we about throwing parties? And that's one where I think, going back to Yasmin's question about like what is, or why are you NFTing? What does your NFT kind of speak to? And the reason for this is like, well, Bored Ape and Doodles and Azuki are throwing massive parties and their values are super, super high. Why doesn't everybody throw a party? And why don't you throw a party, Dustbreakers team? And the reason why, so I just said the reason why you should. So the reason why it's not unsure for us, aside from the value, the cost, is that, I mean, we're a game. We're a sci-fi game. Do sci-fi games, throw big parties? Is that what makes a sci-fi game more successful? Like, yeah, Blizzard has thrown parties at like, Comic-Con and so forth, and PAX and so forth. But is that what we need to do to like, grow in that? These are questions we're asking ourselves. So if you're a gaming NFT, is your thing to throw a party, at an NFT New York or NFT Dubai or whatever, you're watching this from? That's a philosophical question for you to ask yourself and your team, and determine with your own resources. Yeah, we'll see. But again, if you say, I guess going back to the looping question is aside from price, so take away the price part of it, a question I think you all, Yasmin, and those of you who are making your own collections need to ask yourselves when you create something is, when someone asks you, why should I hold your, my NFT, your NFT? What are you going to tell them? What are you going to say? What is the benefit of holding this thing? And maybe it is price. If it's price, cool. If it's social clout and that's the reason you're doing it, cool. No problem, right? But the more interesting you make that answer, at least to me, is the more interesting, result here. It's like, what do you get, from those things? And to be fair to the Azuki, the blue chips, I think there is incredible social clout if you're holding one of those things. And so it's like, part of it could be the fear of, selling the asset too low, right? But I mean, using the more recent blue chip Azuki, which minted in January after us, so like, they're killing it, clearly doing better than we are. Okay, their floor price is like 30 Ethereum, and they were at 2, back in January, so they're 15x, right? And everybody's super happy there. And the people who I know who are holding one of those tokens or more, most of them are like, no, we just feel cool. That we feel better socially that we have one. I have one that looks like me, blah blah blah, right? And of course, I'm sure there's a part of that goes like, well, if it's 30 now, what if it goes to 80? Then like I don't want to sell early. I'm sure that's in there, but that's what they're telling me. Okay. So that's the kind of thing there. And look, I as someone who's just really done one in that experience, and ours is not 30 ETH. We asked ourselves that question too. And right now we may not have a amazing answer to the, why should you hold a Dustbreaker token? But it does get better. I can promise you it will get better in the next month or two. Will that affect price? I don't know. The things have changed out of nowhere for good, for bad, for a lot of collections. So I don't want to make you think this is financial advice at all. Too respectful to everybody's money. Long-winded answer. Next.
Great answer.
Thank you so much for that. So I guess as the old adage goes, membership has its privileges, and so it's a matter of just defining what are the privileges of being a member of your NFT, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that, but it's important to be close with other NFT projects as well, up and coming NFT projects. I noticed that Dustbreakers was working close with Angry Apes, and
Angry Apes?
Yep.
Yeah, several.
It's very important to tag team with these NFTs and work together, exchange whitelist spots as well. That's a tactic, right?
Yeah, that's a very good tactic, actually. I mean, I think you always have to do that. Like when you're launching, you have to hey, I want to give away 20 whitelist spots to people from other communities, because then people in those communities that, first you get the 20 from that other community, which are already ideally very active in that community. And then you get the people who've missed out on the giveaway, and they come in anyway, right? To try to win, try to get whitelist spots. So that's a good way to grow your community. Now, will they be long-term holders? I don't know, but that's up to you to deliver for them. So there's certainly been collections where I've kind of gone in on because of a partnership, whether it's ours or someone else's partnership, and I basically just jumped in, stuck around, wasn't that interested, and sold the tokens. Okay. And there's some other just I'm gonna just hold it. I mean, I may not be an active community member here and blah blah. And there's some that I've some being one or two where I'm oh, this is super interesting, I'm gonna play here for a while and grab a couple more of these, so it really just depends. It just depends.
Yeah, sure. And I see Yasmin did ask another question about how to determine the start price. What's too high, what's too low, what's the percentage. I'm not sure if there's a short answer for that, and it might be possible that this is something maybe you guys can connect with after, or perhaps we can even have another webinar like this just to kind of discuss the creator's guide to NFTing. Just how do you get started with doing this? But I'll kind of let you sort of decide. Is this something that we can?
I can. Well, I don't want to go into detail with giving you an actual number, because I just don't want to be incorrect. I would recommend you look at when you're doing your joining other Discord thing, you can find out what they minted at. Right. And you can see if that price was low or high or so forth. I guess, and see what that is. The advice I would say to you is don't be greedy. You're trying to build a community. And if what you really want is to build a community and you want people to transact, right? If you're trying to just make initial sales, then it's not going to go anywhere. Especially if it's too high. You want it to build and people to transact because you get a portion of that transaction. So it's almost better to have more transactions than to have a high mint price, because you also won't sell out then either. So you want people to sell out. You want people to get hyped about it. You want people to feel oh, they missed out, I gotta get in. And so the person who has 4 of them can sell 1 of them away or 2 of them away. They win, they make some money. The other person gets happy because they got in. So yeah, do some research. I really don't know what is a high or low. I mean, I could, if you set a number, I was that's high, that's obviously high. I would just tell you that sounds obviously high. I wouldn't recommend that. But what do I know? I mean, to be fair, I think Azuki's mint price was 2 ETH or 2.5 ETH, some crazy number. And
I have
there you go.
It's about 1 ETH.
1 ETH. There you go. That's high. I mean, that's
high.
That's $3,000 American dollars for that thing. Back when it minted. Right, Clonex is 2.
Clonex is 2.
I mean, and these are high value, tokens or high value NFTs now. So, yeah, you can see here, screenshot or watch. like take a look. So
And of
Just
course,
get a lot of samples and find what's best for you. Exactly. You want to show that these are selling out, so the price will be important. And like you said, Steve, we'd love to go deep into how would you NFT. That would be a great topic on our next webinar. Up until October 10th, with Jitex, we have many webinars to come. So let's add that into one of the topics that are upcoming as well.
Sounds good, and I hope that Yasmin will join us for that, just to make sure that we're able to answer all her questions.
I look
Yes.
forward to meeting you in person, Yasmin.
And one last question we had actually on through our Instagram actually, and again, I encourage all of the attendees to go ahead and pop your questions in the way that Shahad has done through our Instagram, the way Yasmin has done through the chat. Whatever questions you have, feel free to go ahead and pop that in, and we'll make sure that you get covered. But there seems to be a lot of questions about this NFT in gaming, and I think that this is something that it seems from the messages coming in that it's not something they realized was a thing. We all know about the NFT art and you basically selling a picture, but then all of a sudden mention is NFT gaming. And, so I guess what I wanted to, if I could phrase that as a question is, how does NFT affect gaming from a gamer's point of view? So if somebody is not that much into the NFT space, doesn't really care about the value of NFTs, but they're really into gaming, how does NFT improve gaming for them?
I will preface this by saying there's a lot of NFTs in gaming is a very polarizing topic for gamers. Very polarizing. Okay. So I want to respect that statement. I understand where that polarization comes from. Before I get into the what NFTs are, why NFTs are great in gaming. And will it change gaming? Yes, absolutely. It just has to, because there's so much value and earnings potential. Just like if you're running a games business, you almost have to at least consider it. Like it would just be bad fiduciary responsibly to not consider it. Okay, so let's talk about that, right? So you have various examples of NFT games, or games that use NFTs. Axie Infinity is one that you may have heard of. We'll go into details in a second. Splinterlands is another one. There's just several of them out there. And so why NFTs? Going back to the topic, or why are they NFTing? For Axie is basically like Pokemon. So you have monsters and they fight and they grow, and the NFTs in that are the monsters. So all your Pokemon in this case are singular NFTs. You can trade them, you can sell them, you can grow them. And that's the big difference here, is that you can trade and sell them for value, like coin value, whether it be the Axie coin in Axie Infinity, and then you can trade that for Ethereum, and then whatever, and actually pull money out of it. And so think of like before NFTs in gaming, we spent, especially for like an RPG, World of Warcraft, and those type of things, we as players spent hundreds and thousands of hours building up our accounts, our avatars, whatever. And they're incredibly valuable to us, but they're only valuable to us because we can't do anything with them outside of playing them. We can't sell them, we can't trade them, except for some specific examples of that. I know you can trade accounts on eBay and so forth, but it's not clean, it's not easy, yet it's very clunky. And you can't like sell the items. You find a rare sword in some game, you can't really trade or sell that. It's very difficult. And so now if you tokenize them, now they are trackable and they're on chain, so everybody can see whether they're legit and real. And now you can transact from them. So the next gen World of Warcraft, your avatar should be an NFT. And you can trade and sell it very, very easily if you want to. If you don't want to, you have the most powerful wizard in World of Warcraft. Cool. Amazing. That's clout. Awesome. Okay. And also the idea of where when in these kind of soft currencies in games, you mine gold in World of Warcraft, that gold is only valuable as gold in World of Warcraft, right? That could essentially be a cryptocurrency now. And so you could actually be mining a cryptocurrency, and then you can trade that cryptocurrency for other currencies like a stable coin or a fiat currency. Stablecoin being like an Ethereum or USDC, and then dollars and cents and so forth. So now you have what they call play and earn, play to earn, play and earn, whatever it is. So Axie Infinity, the kind of the cream of the crop example of this. Not saying they're the best one, they're just the most well-known one, right? Is you playing basically Pokemon, you're battling them, you're making money because you win battles, and you're growing your Pokemon, your monsters, and you could sell and trade them too if you want to. So there are different ways to play the game and earn money. Is it a lot of money? That's up to you to decide. See for yourself, okay? And then if you can use this mechanism in a lot of different gameplay mechanics, like Splinterlands. I think it's called Splinterlands, is basically Magic the Gathering or like Hearthstone, like a card game based system. All the cards are NFTs. Okay. You can trade them, you can sell them, you can grow them, you can involve them, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I mean by the technology kind of infiltrating it and making it more enhanced. Now, do gamers some gamers feel that you're losing the purity of gaming because now it's all about the money making and all that stuff? I understand the argument. I completely understand the argument. I feel we kind of went through what feels like a very similar to me vibe when mobile free to play, pay to win mobile games became a thing. Like the first Angry Birds was you pay $5 and you just go nuts and play forever. The second Angry Birds was it's free to play, but you need to spend $5 to get this bird and $10 to get that bird, and that's like, oh my god. So, and Angry Birds will make way more money most likely by doing that than it is selling $5 a user, right? Getting the whales to be able to pay $1,000 or whatever it is. So that's a whole different conversation. Look, that already happened. It's the thing now. Free to play, pay to win scenario. It's unfortunate, but that's where it is. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving you my observations where we are in that area. And then if you're doing gaming, now there's a real clean reason of saying why you're NFTing. It's like, okay, we're gonna build in the technology into the game. We're gonna make it very easy for you to play the game, potentially earn some currency if you choose to, have a good time, and also feel like when you're building your character or avatar or account, that's not just a sink where just this, when you stop playing the game, it's dead. Ideally, you could trade it, you can sell assets from it, and give you and have all these opportunities. So that's my long-winded answer, but that is what we're playing with our Dustbreakers as well. And we have not deployed our play and earn strategy yet, or our tokens. We have discussed and told our community that we are planning to do these things. And so TBD on us, but that is the intention.
Yes, that is exactly what's happening. And I'm very excited to see these, you said Angry Birds, but not Angry Birds maybe, but these big games, game companies, game developers actually opting in and deciding to start their own play to earn or turn their already existing game into play to earn, to GameFi. So it's going to be a big shift. And of course, with your NFTing with games, it's a very exciting age to play.
Absolutely. I mean, as someone who grew up on games, I must say, it's like, damn, I spent a ton of hours playing, the Blizzard games. And what
Absolutely.
do I have to go for it? Like, I didn't earn any money. I had a lot of fun. I'll give you that. It was a lot of fun. But it's definitely, it feels like a different kind of world. Sorry, my focusing is kind of weird. Why are you doing this? Yeah. Anyway,
there you are.
Yeah. That's kind of what we're seeing. And I think if you really dig around the NFT world, any type of genre that you've seen of any type of game, someone out there is trying to do the NFT version of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to say that a lot of Japanese game companies are trying to enter the NFT gaming verse. So in our series that are upcoming, we'd like to bring in some of these traditional gaming companies who actually speak English, which is important, which is rare in Japan actually. But yeah, we'll bring them over. We'd love to have you talk with them as well, Bernie.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to. I love this topic. You see, I have a lot of opinion on this, and
keep on talking.
And it's also an area where, like, look, I could my opinions can completely change in like 6 weeks. I don't know. right? And it's a marketplace. NFT marketplaces change. In January, if we were having this conversation, it was like everything was going up. Like every like NFT was going up. Like we were kind of like, why aren't we going up as fast as these other ones are going up? And then like then they all go down. And so then I'm like, then we're not as sad as we're not going, we're not tanking. So I don't, it's very different. And so even going back to the advice we're giving to Yasmin and people who are trying to build their communities, which I definitely say that is the kind of the current meta. I think since everybody does the same meta, there may be a fatigue that's coming. Like, oh, I gotta join the community to mint the whitelist and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, so the strategy may completely change in 6 weeks of how to grow your community and how to mint and all that stuff. So, yeah, TBD all around, man.
Yep. So, Steve, let's keep on talking about these in our upcoming bi-weekly series as well. And please come over again, Bernie, and we'll keep on talking about this and maybe go deeper into NFT gaming. We're both gamers, and let's delve deeper.
Sure, happy to. Not too often though, because this is like midnight for me. But happy to do it. Happy to do it. I just like can't do it every day.
Definitely appreciate your time, and we'll keep you from sleeping a few
more
times.
It's all right. These are fun conversations, and I also feel that like, look, I think even if let's say come back 4 weeks from now, I feel that all of us will have new data and information to share with each other, whether it be from our own projects or from observations that we're seeing, and seeing like NFT New York. It's in June, so it's not next month hypothetically, but what shifts there, right? Like what does something shift? I don't know. Like for example, NFT LA, Azuki did their party and dropped their kind of bean drop thing, and that did shift some things. Like it did like oh shit, like Azuki just dropped this thing, their price shot up and created incredible value to those who were holding. I have a friend who bought one at like when the floor was 8 Ethereum and she bought it at 12, but she wanted the one that she really wanted. And it's like, ooh, that's hefty. Like, whereas now it's 30, so it's like, well, she clearly made a good buy. Like, right? So good for her, right? And that's awesome. So yeah, who knows what happens, right? Who knows?
Who knows?
And so one of the questions I and I think this is a great kind of light question to wrap up this whole space, and I think that we have the perfect panelists to join this conversation for this. Is I've noticed a lot of like Asian inspired NFTs out there, and I just wanted to kind of get you guys' opinions on, are these accurate depictions of Asian art? Is this how do you feel about all of this representation in the NFT space?
I want Hayat to go first on this one.
Yeah, sure. I know a lot of Japanese crypto and NFT people who sat down after they saw Azuki, after they saw Mechaverse, and saw that they were Japan inspired but not Japanese, and they sat down. They were frustrated. Actually, they were motivated in a good way that they need to actually stand up and do something originally from Japan. So it's awesome to see so much art and so much culture that is originating from Asia, but is being depicted throughout this NFT verse, and it's actually a pleasant thing to see. And but at the same time, we would like to see some projects that are actually from Japan as well, or from China, or from Korea, or any Asia descent. And so we're very happy as CoinTelegraph Japan to help them and help them market and bring them in the right way. That's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Interesting. I'm glad that you're doing that. Yeah, I find that it's kind of historical. So Azuki came out in January and really kicked off what was clearly an anime trend, like an anime meta, and that lasted about 6 weeks. We're not an anime meta anymore. like what I mean by that is Azuki is doing great, but like everything else in that meta is not doing great. They're like either stagnant or they tanked pretty much. I'm sure there's an outlier there, so don't at me, but in general, Suzuki did its thing, set a bar extremely high, and it deserves that bar. The quality is amazing. Everything else is subjective, and they're rocking it. But everything else after that really just tanked out, and that's unfortunate. So what is the meta now? I don't know. I really don't know what the meta is. I haven't been following it as meticulously, mainly because I've been working on my own projects, my own NFT projects. So I can't tell you what it is. It looked like for a second there was going to be like a Doodles meta or an Emperor's meta of those styles of art, and they kind of lasted for a hot second and then just kind of went away. I think there's that thing that just mooned, literally, like, called Moonbirds. I know nothing about it. I just know it just skyrocketed. I don't know why. I'm not complaining.
It tanked and went back up again, right? So that was like one of the first projects that actually did that.
Really?
I hear. Yes.
All right. I need to do some research on that. I just have not had time to dig into Moonbirds. But hey, let me take a look at this real quick. I was like, yeah. So good for them. They're off their high by quite a bit now. Like, I don't know. Is there a Moonbirds meta now? Like, is there a bunch of projects going to come out that I kind of feel like Moonbirds to kind of, pick up on that hype? Probably. Will they be successful? I don't know. So that's interesting. I did find, going back to the question about the Asian representation and so forth, like, Dustbreakers is the story is set in like Africa, so there's a lot more of an African culture vibe there. Whether or not that was good for us or not, that's a TBD. But I do think that it's fascinating because the community is very strong in the Southeast Asia's East Asian countries. And does that mean that there's an untapped market in the Middle East, African, South American areas for something like just rocket ship out? I don't know. So we'll see. Yeah, might as well long-winded answer. I'm Asian. I like to see Asian art out there, though. So I bought a few. Some did well, some didn't. Oh well.
We will see.
Welcome to the game.
And who knows what happens next? That could be the next title.
Who knows? Yeah.
Well, hey guys, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate that. This is not exactly prime hour for you, especially Bernie. It's midnight.
Thank you.
Midnight over there. I know you.
No sweat.
Thank you, Bernie.
It is an honor to be here. So yes.
For sure. If you'd like to say anything to our audience for one last time, or if there's any way that you would like for them to get in touch with you, if you're willing to accept private messages on LinkedIn or Instagram or however you keep in touch, then feel free to let them know how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, sure. I'm Bernie Sue, just my name, on all the accounts, Instagram, Twitter, everything. Yeah, you can just message me if you have a question. It doesn't mean I have an answer. It doesn't mean I will answer, just I'll try. But some answers, I don't have all the answers. I just have some opinions, and if I don't really like my opinion as something that you should take, then I'm not going to give you the opinion. But yeah, you can just totally reach out to me, Bernie Sue, all the accounts. Go for it.
Great.
Same for me. I'm Hayate Mets. I'll be on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Telegram as well. So feel free to shout out. Thank you.
Let me just type that in for you. MATT, right, Hayate?
Yep.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us, and I really appreciate this. This Why Are You NFTing panel, and I think that it was a big eye opener for me. That as Bernie mentioned at the beginning, that there's more value to NFTs than just buying to sell. We're not all flipping. There's actually a huge value in a lot of different spaces, especially in gaming. And I appreciate you shed us some light on this, Bernie. I appreciate the panel discussion, Hayate, and I think you're a great host. And I look forward to the Creator's Guide to NFTing, or How Do You NFT, or whatever the next panel is going to be. And I think that it's going to be a great option for us.
Who knows what happens next?
Can't wait to see it.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we'll talk to you later, guys, and I appreciate all the help.
Good night, Bernie.
Good night.
Bye.